Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. A roll call, please.
Mayor Bosmas.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Lind.
Here.
Commissioner Osterhout.
Here.
Commissioner Twardy. Here.
Okay, we're all here. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We could ask those with cell phones if you would please put them on vibrate or silence them. We would appreciate it. Item number 1, introduction of Police Captain John Larson, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. At this time, I'll turn this over to Police Chief Riley as he introduces Police Captain John Larson.
Pass the buck. Chief?
Okay, if I could have John Larson step forward, please. As the commission knows, Captain Mike Whitney retired after over 22 years of service. He's not sitting back. He's not going out fishing. You're not going to see him in the boat. He's got a job over at the locks. He's the new captain of security over at the locks, which means when I go to visit him in the morning and have coffee, I have to go through security and be escorted and all kinds of stuff because he's across the lock. So he's more important than I am. We went through the testing process for replacement of the captain. We had 4 applicants. All were qualified candidates. We conducted interviews. Robin and I conducted interviews. And through that process, John Larson was selected. I have all the confidence in the world in John. I think he's going to be an outstanding captain. He brings a lot to the table, especially with his experience on the 2 different drug teams. So I'll introduce our new captain of the Sault Ste. Marie Police Department, John Larson. Okay.
Congratulations, Captain. Good luck. All right.
Great. Thank you. Item number 2, public comment on scheduled agenda items. Any person may reserve time to speak on an agenda item, not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 3, the consent agenda. Assistant City Clerk. I'm sorry, Assistant City Manager. Sorry, Rob.
Under the consent agenda, A, minute approval. 1, approval of the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of June 20th, 2016. Recommended action, approve the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of June 20th, 2016. Item 2, acceptance of the minutes of the following boards and commissions. A, Community Services Board of June 28th, 2016. B, Sault Ste. Marie Housing Commission of May 19th, 2016. And C, Zoning Board of Appeals, May 19th, 2016. Recommended action is to accept the minutes of the various boards and commissions. Item B, communications. 1, from the Sault Ste. Marie Foundation for Culture and History, Program Service Provider Agreement. Recommended action is to approve the Program Service Provider Agreement as included in the agenda packet. C, special orders of business. 1, schedule a public hearing of necessity for West Spruce from Ashman Street to Osborne Boulevard. Recommended action, schedule a public hearing of necessity for the proposed special assessment project covering West Spruce Street from Ashman Street to Governor Osborne Boulevard for the July 18, 2016 City Commission meeting. Item D, City Manager's Report. 1, authorization of purchase of generic time from the Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System, MERS, by Terry Collins. Recommended action, approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of 5 years of generic time from MERS by Terry Collins, with the employee paying 100% of the estimated actuarial cost. Item 2 under City Manager's Report is an adoption of a resolution in accordance with Section 4.6 of the City Charter. Recommended action is to adopt a resolution in accordance with 4.6 of the City Charter.
Okay, thank you. Is there a commissioner who would like something further explained on the consent agenda? Commissioner Gary.
I am on the Sioux Historic Sites Board, which manages the River of History Museum for the Sault Ste. Marie Foundation for Culture and History, and because there is B1 communications, I would like to abstain from the consent agenda.
That would be fine.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Tuarte.
I so move that we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Baspas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarte?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 4, special orders of business. A, public hearing on a resolution to vacate with the retention of utility easements the full width of the west 140 feet of the unimproved West 5th Avenue right-of-way between Block 1 and Block 8, Cargill's Addition. A is public comment, and B is action on the resolution to vacate.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. At the June 20th City Commission meeting, the City Commission scheduled a public hearing on a resolution to vacate with the retention of utility easements the full width of the west 140 feet of the unimproved West 5th Avenue right-of-way between Block 1 and Block 8, Cargill's Addition. As the Commission is aware, at the June 9th interim meeting of the Planning Commission considered an application submitted by Kelly Freeman, the city's Planning and Zoning Administrator, for this vacation. In the submitted application, Mr. Freeman stated that his interest in the vacation lies in the fact that he maintains his half of the right-of-way and prefers to have ownership of the same. As a note, this request was being handled by City Engineer Linda Basista to prevent a conflict of interest. The application has been co-signed by the property owner north of the right-of-way to be vacated. The required notices have been sent to the property owners and utility companies. To date, all of the utility companies have responded with no objection to the vacation, provided utility easements are retained. There was no public comment offered at the Planning Commission meeting, and the one call received by staff was satisfactorily answered. The caller was satisfactorily answered. The Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request as submitted. Accordingly, it's my recommendation first that the City Commission hold the required public hearing regarding this topic, and secondarily that the City Commission approve a resolution to vacate with the retention of utility easements the full width of the west 140 feet of the unimproved West 5th Avenue right-of-way between Block 1 and Block 8, Cargill's Addition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, City Manager. At this time, we'll hold the public hearing on the resolution to vacate with the retention of utility easements the full width of west 140 feet of the unimproved West 5th Avenue right-of-way as explained by the City Manager. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public comment area. City Commission. Commissioner Osterhout.
I so move that we support the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarte?
Yes.
Mayor Baspas?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B under special orders of business is second reading of an ordinance to affirmatively further fair housing in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. A is public comment and B is action on the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Commission is aware, at the July 5th City Commission meeting, the City Commission introduced for first reading an ordinance prohibiting and making unlawful discrimination in housing and/or real property, and then scheduled a second reading of this ordinance for this meeting. Municipalities receiving community development block grants through the Michigan Strategic Fund are required to comply with various state and federal laws that provide for equal opportunity and non-discrimination in all aspects of the projects undertaken with such grant funding. As the Commission is aware, the City of Sault Ste. Marie has been the recipient of HUD grant funds through the Community Block Grant Program as administered by the Michigan Strategic Fund for at least two projects, being the Urgent Needs Deep Freeze Utility Repair Grant and the Downtown Facade Grant. The Urgent Needs Grant is now in the closeout stage, and as such, there are a variety of plans and policies that must be adopted prior to final closeout, such as the presented ordinance. The language of the presented ordinance is taken from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's CDBG Grant Administration Manual and generally prohibits discrimination in the offering, advertising, sale, and/or financing of housing and/or real property based on race, color, religion, creed, national origin, ancestry, sex, or disability. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission first hold the required public hearing on this matter, and secondarily, adopt the presented ordinance prohibiting and making unlawful discrimination in housing and/or real property. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, at this time, we'll hold a public hearing on the ordinance to affirmatively further fair housing in the city of Sault Ste. Marie as explained by the city manager. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to make a comment at this time? Okay, we're hearing none. We'll close the public hearing. City Commission. Commissioner Gage.
So move the manager's recommendation.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Ostrow?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bostos?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5 is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under the City Manager's report would provide for the award of a bid to Kaesner Construction for the Polar Community Building New Roof Project. As outlined within the included materials, sealed bid proposals marked New Roof Polar Community Building were advertised for and received by the City Clerk's office for improvements to the roof at the Polar Community Building. Connectedly, a walkthrough was held at the Polar on May 31st at 1 p.m. with 3 interested contractors attending. Sealed bids were opened at the office of the City Clerk at 4 p.m. on Monday, June 13th, with 3 bids being opened and publicly read at that time. As the Commission is aware, the project would provide for a new 80 mil single-ply PVC membrane roofing system, insulation and dormers per the design, drawing, and documents contained in the project manual and as provided by UP Engineers and Architects. All 3 bids received for the project were over UP Engineers and Architects' estimated budget as detailed in the attached bids and the bid tabulation summary page. As such, it was determined that UP Engineers and Architects would provide the value engineering letter to the 3 bidders for them to provide proposed deductions to the project that would not compromise the quality, function, and warranty of the proposed roof. This is detailed within the included recommendation letter from UPEA. Upon receiving responses from all 3 bidders and based on the responses received, it is recommended to proceed with the project by awarding the bid to Kaesner Construction of Sault Ste. Marie to include proposed reductions to include the use of a mechanically fastened roof, aluminum framed panels on existing cupolas, and wrapped membrane around intake vents, the deductions totaling $46,000 to result in a total project cost in the amount of $229,000. Accordingly, it is my recommendation that the City Commission first authorize the transfer of $14,300 from the General Fund Contingency Fund to complete this project, and secondarily, award the Polar Community Building New Roof Project to Kaesner Construction of Sault Ste. Marie in the amount of $229,000, as it was a low bidder meeting all specifications. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. There are 2 recommendations in discussion with the city attorney. Those are 2 separate motions. And Commissioner Lynn, you were here 30 years ago, maybe, for that roof in 1980s?
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
82.
We'll let you do the second one.
Just a couple of things.
Sure.
What is, when we sold the golf course, how much of that proceeds goes towards the new roof of the $229,000?
City manager.
Thank you, Commissioner. The entire proceeds net of that transaction would be applied to this project,
It's
approximately $128,000.
And the other thing about it, there's a 30-year guarantee on this roof. We do not, is that correct English? We don't have to worry about the Polar roof for 30 years. Now, I'm going to be gone. The mayor still might be mayor, but I know I'm going to be gone.
No.
But this is, if you don't have a good roof in Sault Ste. Marie, the UP, you don't have a good building. And thank God we're finally fixing that problem. So I would so move that we transfer $14,300 from the general fund contingency to complete this project.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Tuorty.
Thank you. You actually answered a couple of my questions. So the last time the roof was replaced on the Polar was 30 years ago?
Approximately 25 to 30 years ago.
Now, this was done in '82, but they might have done something since then. But it's never been a complete complete
Okay.
do-over.
Okay,
you know,
all right.
Just to keep it from leaking, I guess, is what
Okay.
you're looking at.
Yeah, and I've seen the leaks during hockey
Oh, yeah,
games.
yeah, we've,
The only other question that I have is, what's going on with the small extension roof, actually, which would be the Eagles locker room? Is that roof completely fixed and repaired? Because that, I mean, we found out that that was not a membrane, like a membrane roof should not be on that section, right?
Right, thank you, Commissioner. This is the roof in the northern part of the building. Last fall, there were repairs that were done with plywood being put down and 80 mil membrane being overlaid on top of that. And the 80 mil membrane that was overlaid also had approximately 25-year warranty on the materials. Now, that being said, in discussions with UP engineers and architects, it will require ongoing maintenance as with the rest of the puller, but the work that was done last fall should substantially address that for the time being.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's it.
Sure. Anyone else? We have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
yes,
Commissioner Osterhout,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes,
Mayor Bosmas.
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And Commissioner Lynn?
so move that we award the Polar Community Building New Roof Project to Kaisner Construction, Inc. of Sault Ste. Marie in the amount of $229,000. That was the low bid, meeting all specifications.
support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes,
Commissioner Osterhout,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes,
Mayor Bosmas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B, under the city manager's report, would provide for the award of a bid to McGahee Construction for the Polar Community Building restroom and Zamboni hallway upgrade project. Sealed bid proposals marked restroom and Zamboni hallway upgrades Polar Community Building were advertised for and received by the city clerk's office. A walkthrough was held at the Polar Community Building on June 8th at 1 p.m. with one general contractor and several subcontractors in attendance. Sealed bids were opened at the office of the city clerk at 4 p.m. on June 16th, with one sealed bid being opened and publicly read. The project would consist of renovations of the public restroom, of the northwest public restroom and Zamboni hallway, including associated fixtures, plumbing, electrical, and carpentry work, per drawings and documents contained in the project manual as provided by UPEA. UPEA reviewed the project work with the low bidder, McGahee Construction, and it was determined that the bid item for the Zamboni hallway upgrades was higher than expected. After further review and discussion, it was determined that the rerouting of the steam lines and condensate pipe was a substantial cost of the project, and a solution was found so that the steam line and condensate pipe could remain as is without compromising the intention of the proposed project. It is a recommendation to proceed with the project to award the bid to McGahee Construction of Sault Ste. Marie, including proposed deductions totaling $18,350 for the new total project amount of $110,228. Accordingly, that is my recommendation for the commission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Lynn, as a member of the committee that helped raise, I guess, some of these funds for the, because this is the, I believe, the final project for the Polar? Maybe we
yeah,
can
I
get to
was
that.
just going to say that.
Yes.
All these funds comes from
The additional money that the
that
committee.
we raise through the committee.
Yes.
And I think this is the last project. Is that right, City Manager?
That is correct, Commissioner Lynn. They all come from the donations that were received by the
And
city.
I think we've got a meeting in August, might be closing out the
Yes, in
fundraising.
fact, maybe, could the city manager maybe just give a brief history on how we got to this point, that we were looking at an addition on the west side?
Absolutely. So as the commission is aware, at one time in early 2014, bids were received, and because of the total project cost, the proposed past west addition that was connected with the vacation of Glen Avenue was removed from the project. And as time progressed, it became apparent after putting out that project for bid that the total cost of the project was twice as much as had been expected. So in reaction to those higher than expected costs, there were some targeted improvements that the fundraising committee was looking to make. And after discussing the scope of what could be done, certainly the northwest bathroom, including the construction of new stalls, ADA compliant stalls, and new plumbing and electrical fixtures was considered, as well as the renovation of the Zamboni hallway, which includes removing approximately 2 rows of seating, raising it up about 5 feet where the Zamboni enters in to provide a safer clearance, and having a long-term benefit for the overall facility.
Okay, great. Anyone have any questions? Commissioner Tuarte?
Yeah, thank you. So you're talking about the current Zamboni hallway, or are you talking
Yes.
about the proposed one on the east side? Okay,
That's correct, Commissioner. This would include the renovation of the existing Zamboni hallway.
okay, all right, thank you.
And there won't be a dump station in there, it's just the, instead of a vinyl curtain that used to come down, now it'd be an actual, something like a vinyl door that comes
That
down
you-
on both ends.
You cannot see through.
Yes. And an improvement to the head area, going in and out of with the Zamboni, the person driving the Zamboni had a duck. Now we should have enough clearance so that it would not have to happen, so.
That was the main reason, really, is we're lucky nobody ever got hurt doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Gage.
Did I hear correctly that this is the final improvement to, as part of that, the final phase of
Yes.
these improvement plans? Okay. So after that, this should be done and cleared out?
Yes.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
Till
You
next
never-
year, right?
You never know.
And we know that with the, how old is that building now, 70, almost 80 years old? That there's constant, there'll be some maintenance, but by doing what we're able to do with the funds from the Matheson family and the funds that were raised and the funds that the city provide, we're able to see that building going into the future so that it should be well taken care of for many years, and routine maintenance will occur as going forward.
And it's, oh, he still has it.
Yeah, if you just had to
Commissioner Gage.
ballpark though, so from the improvements starting in January of, was it January 14? I forget when we started the process.
Something like that.
About approximately, I don't know, that's more of an Oliver question, or the city manager question. Approximately how much have we spent on the improvements?
City manager, have the rough number?
I would say the rough number is approaching $1.5 million, $1.4, $1.5 million. And then with the cost of the roof, as well as this project that's in front of the commission for consideration, as you point out, significant investment in the facility.
Okay.
And basically, we saved the building because it was going down. I mean, just everything, the electrical, the piping that goes into the flooring for the freezing, and it was a mess.
Once we took, as we understand, we can go through the history a bit, but once we took the boards and the glass off, what was done by the staff there, and then the contractor, we noticed over $50,000 worth of piping that needed to be repaired, and that was taken care of, so.
And I think we brought up,
Yes.
one of them here had holes in it. How it works beyond me. And what got me was the state electrical inspector said, why didn't we have a fire? That was all the old stuff from 1939.
Commissioner Tuarte?
Thank you. Just an observation. So this building is a little bit older than Bill Lynn.
Yes.
And so
2 years. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Commissioner.
yeah. So, but it is older than you. However, you can relate, like when the electrical starts to go and, plumbing starts to go.
Bill's
Yeah.
had more work done on him than the poor guys.
Okay?
Yeah, you gotta watch
Questions,
it.
comments?
Thank you.
Anyone else? We have
I'll make a
and
motion.
support. Commissioner makes-
Let's
we
get
have
out of here.
support.
Start talking about
Do we have support?
Yes.
Support.
Support. Any further questions? No comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarte?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you.
Item C, under the city manager's report, would provide for the formation of a downtown form-based code committee. As outlined within the presented materials, in advance of the beginning of the development of a form-based zoning code for the downtown vicinity, city administration is requesting that a committee be formed to guide this process. Accordingly, a list of tasks in which this committee would likely be involved, as well as those tasks where city administration would take the lead, has been included with this memorandum. With an effort of this scale, it is important to have a wide cross-section of the downtown business and property owners represented. Representation would also include members of the boards and commissions, which would ultimately need to approve the resulting regulatory language. City administration would propose that the form-based code committee be comprised as follows. City administration, myself, DDA Director Knepper and Planning and Zoning Administrator Freeman, as well as 1 DDA board member, 1 planning commissioner, 1 business owner whose property is north of the power canal, as well as 1 business owner whose property is south of the power canal, as well as 2 east and west Portage Avenue business owners, as well as 2 city commissioners. As a note, city administration is requesting that the commission appoint 2 commissioners to serve on this committee and is requesting authorization to seek volunteers to serve on the committee. Once volunteers are identified, these names could be returned to the city commission for its awareness and approval if preferred. The adoption of a form-based code will provide a regulatory framework for development in the downtown area as a means to ensure that future new construction and exterior renovation work is consistent with the community's long-term vision for the physical development of the district and the long-term recognition of the historical and cultural values of the community. This development consistency is a key component of placemaking and will, over the long term, guide the development of the downtown so that it can continue on its path toward being a desirable place to live, work, and recreate. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission appoint 2 city commissioners to serve on this committee and direct city administration to seek volunteers to fill the open positions on the same. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And I have discussed the possibilities with Commissioner Bauer and Commissioner Osterhout, and they are willing to serve on that committee for the commission's information. So Commissioner Gage, or
So move the mayor's recommendation, I guess?
we establish, sure,
Support.
establish the committee, and then maybe authorize administration to contact. And if we have anyone that we would think might be a good member, we would give that name to the manager. Okay. Everybody understand the motion? Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Tuardi.
One more quick question, thank
Sure.
you. Is this going to take, will this take into account, this committee, current zoning that's happening in the DDA or around the city? Like as far as like community improvement or blight?
Thank you, Commissioner. The scope of the committee would be to review the existing zoning regulations for the downtown vicinity. So it would address existing zoning parameters, and it would take a look at also how those might be adapted over the long term for each of the specific and distinct unique districts of the downtown. As far as property improvement and blight, those are and can be consistently and continually addressed through the property maintenance code.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Gage.
Not to speak for all my colleagues here, I think we're pretty well aware of what form-based code means, but perhaps for those folks who don't know what
Good idea.
form-based code is, maybe we could have an explanation of what that is from
Okay.
somebody.
Thank you.
Right.
Good idea.
Thank you.
City Manager.
I would be happy to provide that overview, but I'd also ask that Planning and Zoning Administrator Freeman provide that to the City Commission and community, as he's will be taking a lead role in this project.
Certainly. Evening, Kelly.
So the zoning ordinance as it stands today basically provides an invisible box in which you can develop your building as you please, your height, your setbacks, all that other stuff, parking, et cetera, et cetera. A form-based code takes into account the fabric of the downtown, so the heights of buildings, where they are in relation to the sidewalk, where the parking is, the windows, that kind of a thing. So through a form-based code, you can achieve a consistent look and feel throughout, which is an important aspect of creating a place.
Everyone understand that? Okay. That was a good explanation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? I guess I have just a question. Do we have to, since we have other committees in the community, and I guess I'm asking maybe the city manager, and then you can refer to the city attorney, where you can't serve more than one on one committee? Since this is a committee that only exists for a certain amount of time, could people that are interested sit on this committee that may be sitting on another committee sometime? City attorney?
This is an advisory committee. It's not a committee created by state law or code or charter. Therefore, since it is an advisory committee, the commission is free to appoint as they see fit.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone have any other questions? Commissioner Osterhout.
It's more of a comment than anything, and I've talked to
Kelly Freeman about this a few different times. Our current form-based code is what, 50 years old, Kelly, approximately there? Yeah, so it's long past due. It's definitely something, and you have the comments about how our downtown looks old and everything else. This is definitely gonna, if we get this form-based code passed, it's definitely any future building in the, or remodeling, it's definitely gonna, to put parameters on as to how we do business downtown, and how the buildings will be taken care of and everything else. I think it's just long past due, and I think it's a good thing.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? We have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Boswis?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item D, under the city manager's report, would provide for the approval of a lease with the International 500 Project for the use of city-owned property. As commissioners are aware, the International 500 Project Committee, or otherwise known as I-500 Committee, has been working toward the construction of a new press center at the I-500 racetrack. This work is being undertaken to completely restore the property and location used by the I-500 Committee for the annual snowmobile race from damage incurred during significant rainfall events in 2013, and follows work completed last year at the track for culvert replacement and earth restoration activities funded through the $250,000 MEDC grant awarded to the city of Sault Ste. Marie. At this time, the cost of building a new press center building exceeds remaining available grant funds, which total approximately $130,700, and as such, the I-500 Committee has been seeking and has procured financing for the remaining costs associated with the construction of the press building. In order to finalize its efforts to procure financing, the I-500 Committee has been working with City Administration to complete the included and revised lease agreement that permits the committee to utilize the property where the I-500 race occurs annually. Notably, the agreement has been revised to provide for a term of 10 years to support the I-500 Committee's efforts to procure financing for the construction of the press center, and has further been modified to state that all proposed changes to the property, including but not limited to changes in grade, vegetation, and drainage, must be submitted by the lessee to the city engineer for review and approval in order to ensure that any such improvements meet the needs of the city and the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality. Additionally, language updates have been incorporated throughout the agreement to address liability insurance needs and other minor issues. Finally, the revised lease agreement continues to provide access to the property for the city to potentially host other events on the premises that would not conflict with the I-500 snowmobile race. As a note, the I-500 Committee has recently received approval from the Planning Commission for its press center construction plans, and the information that was submitted to the Planning Commission has been made a part of this record. Additionally, and finally, the I-500 Committee has formally approved the included lease agreement, and it's my recommendation that the City Commission approve the agreement as presented. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And Dan from the I-500 Board of Directors is here with us also. Probably a lot warmer than you normally would be. So with that, City Commission, Commissioner Gage.
So move the manager's recommendation.
Okay.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Gage.
I just think it's worth noting that although approximately, is it 300,000, or no, 250,000 is being spent on the press box, we're not actually spending any city money on that. It's through grants and stuff like that. It's just worth clarifying, so that people listening know that we're not spending city money.
And also, I think it's worth noting, too, that the I-500 Board of Directors was able to
Secure financing.
get two banks in the area that would loan them money to make this happen. We certainly wish them well. I understand construction is going to start this summer, spring, should be this summer and fall?
Hopefully start in October.
Okay.
Right, so we're planning,
Be ready for race day? Part of it?
we're hoping to have at least the shell construction of about 75% usable building.
I know Dan, but I don't know who you are. If you.
I'm also on the private board of directors.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So you're talking to us, but we'd like to have the folks. One of you would like to speak into the mic. That way, folks listening will also get an idea. I'm sorry, I didn't know who you work, but if you'd identify yourself for the record, we'd appreciate it.
My name is Levi Kemp. I'm on the I-500 Board of Directors. As of right now, working with UP Architect and Engineers, the tentative date for groundbreaking is some point in October. We're waiting a little bit on the zoning board, that meeting that was last month, and then the final procurement of the lease, because that's what the financing is waiting on, from banks this month. So if everything goes to plan, we should have about a 75 to 80% done building, at least for this race season, and then hopefully complete 100% for next race season.
Great, well, best wishes to you.
Thanks.
That takes an awful lot of volunteers, and you folks just continue to do very well. We have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you.
That concludes the city manager's report. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6, matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Director of the DDA, Justin Nepper. Some good news.
Good news. Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to let everybody know, I think at our last commission meeting, we were at about $6,000 or $8,000 out of the $16,000 goal for our mural project downtown. And we have still 10 days left in our 30-day window, and we've already hit our goal. So we raised, thank you. We're actually, I think we're at over $16,000, and it was due to, I think there's over 127 individuals, businesses, organizations that donated. Many of you here in this room, as well as one of our biggest donations that came in this past week was from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and their board voted. There's a $3,000 donation that came from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and their motivation, it was a really interesting discussion, I was at their board meeting, was to really invest in tourism infrastructure that would be here, that would appeal to the millennial generation. One of the things that came up was just how many, younger people like to take selfies, and what better place to take a selfie than to travel to Sault Ste. Marie. Hit all of our tourist attractions that have been long-standing features, and then hop in front of a beautiful new mural. So they looked at cities like Philadelphia and Grand Rapids, and both of which are quite successful with mural projects and programs, and so they were one of the big funders, as well as a number of businesses that came in this week. And even today, I think we had 5 or 6 individuals that are still coming in and saying, hey, we want to give. So the next steps will be, within the next few weeks, we'll be sending out all of our thank you cards, we'll be getting all of our donor goodies, mugs, t-shirts, all the things that our different donors will receive for their participation, and the business owners and property owners will be starting to work with their walls to get them ready, get contractors working on the various bricks and surfaces to get them ready for the paint. And then we'll have two mural artists hopefully start rolling on a couple of the projects within the next, I would say in the next month, if not sooner. And then we still have 1 or 2 of the locations that will need some community involvement, and some various artists that'll be putting in submissions. So it's really exciting, and we'll see that coming soon.
Great job. That's first. That was our first attempt at crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding, yeah, and
did very well.
Very easy to use platform through the state of Michigan. Of course, there's a lot of different opportunities, but crowd granting is what we used. It was called, which is based on our ability to crowdfund, which is really crowdfunding is the way to fundraise, but primarily focused on using online tools. But I would say at least half of our funding came in the old-fashioned way, where we talked to folks, made calls to people, and donated cash, check, or credit card. But through the state of Michigan, with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's crowd granting program, every year, if the community identifies various projects that could range from investing in a park, or investing in a community building, all sorts of different aspects, you can apply to the state for pre-approval up to $100,000, and and if we raise, whatever we raise, they match 100% of that up to $100,000. And there's really no strings attached with this program, so that's what's neat. The state really sees it as if we're engaging the public in a wide variety of getting a lot of people bought in. That's good enough for them. I believe the one rule was that if someone that you're not allowed to donate more than $10,000 to the cause, so that way you're not just, if some, let's say, municipal government out there says, hey, we want to build blank and we're putting in $100,000, the state really looks more for a lot of participation from a lot of different people for this program specifically.
I guess a question, what happens with the additional funds? If we only
Certainly.
had to raise 16.
Yep, we're at
20, what happens?
We're at $16,500 currently, so we're $500 over our goal. But one of the things that was a little bit short-sighted on my part and some of the organizers' part, we didn't think about the fact that we would need to buy postage and postcards and order T-shirts and supplies. And so a lot of that extra money that's coming in, we actually talked to a few of the donors that came in just after we hit our goal to make sure that they were okay with that funding going towards helping us cover the thank yous and the kind of the peripheral needs of the grant. And press release is going out tonight saying that we've reached our goal. So anybody that donates going forward for the next 10 days will be going towards helping just cover kind of extra costs or additional costs. And then, if it got really crazy and we got a lot of money, we'd probably look at another mural, adding another mural to the project.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
thank you.
Good job. Any questions of Justin? Commissioner Osterhout?
No, I just want to commend Justin for some very hard work. I received a Facebook message from him last Sunday, and he says, I'm just taking some extra time to reach out to people and just ask them to fund and everything else. So kudos to you, Justin. A lot of good work, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else in the audience? Okay, thank you. We are at item number 7, are the city commission comments. Let me just start by saying we had just concluded the 4th of July parade by the Chamber of Commerce. Excellent. Tony Heller and the staff, and I believe Justin was partly involved in that. Great job on the parade. Fireworks after, going back to the original route, and it just seemed that the community was, at that time of the day, so much better. Great crowds for the parade, and great crowds for the fireworks. Just a little, we saw the end of the fireworks, and I know I'm not alone when I thought, what happened? I mean, we had the finale, but normally we have a grand finale where in a couple of minutes, all of a sudden you see even additional stuff. And we saw 2 go up in a large flare mass on where they were lighting off, but I guess that was a controlled burn, I understand, in talking with the city manager. And just so if I know a lot of folks are wondering what happened, because they were leaving, and then we'd hear one go off, and you turn around, and they'd stay there for a second, or maybe a minute and a half, and nothing happened, and you kick a step, and all of a sudden, bang, one more goes off, and those are the final 2. And it was like somebody found something. But maybe you could just comment. I guess it was business as usual.
That's correct, Mayor. It was classified as a fire mine, which is a new pyrotechnic. Didn't quite live up to the expectations of the lead individual putting off the fireworks, but it was not a part of the city contract, free of charge. So it's something that they're working on and developing, but certainly overall the event required a lot of collaboration between the Army Corps, city, a lot of entities. So the fireworks were, that
Great day,
collaboration
too.
was appreciated.
Great days, I should say. Great. The International Bridge Walk, Commissioner Twardy did the welcome for me, and I appreciate that. Why don't you just talk a little bit about that as we have some time?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the 30th annual International Bridge Walk, and I couldn't believe all the people that came out for it. It was really fantastic. It was a large crowd. I asked people to kind of get together so we could do like a big picture. I posted it on Facebook. One thing to remember, that when you do go to a foreign country, you need to bring your ID. And so the whole Twardy clan forgot their IDs, and Canada was great. They're like, just turn around and go back. And then we got back to the U.S. side, and they played along very nicely. We did have to go in, and they did not detain us, but make sure next year to bring ID.
Always do.
Then
And let me just comment.
Engineers Day.
Okay. Engineers Day was tremendous. I guess we just kind of relived these moments because it's been like a blur. And I know Justin's, but maybe you, I mean, I was involved. You could speak to that, I'm sure. But we had 8,000. I think the count was almost 8,000. Come on up, Justin. But the Vietnam commemorative ceremony was tremendous.
Yes, I spent the day, we had, I think, 3 people going nonstop, just keeping the place clean, so I wasn't able to see some of the activities, but personally, but I heard the Vietnam Memorial was just amazing. We had our brand new stage that was funded in part by the Downtown Development Authority. That's the Rotary stage. They purchased the overwhelming majority of it, and then the Visitors Bureau as well, and that stage was water transported over there, and the veterans were able to use that. Big crowds I heard for that event. There was almost 8,000 people. It was the 3rd highest in the history of the Engineers Day festivities. Here at City Hall, there was the Arts and Crafts Fair that raised money for the Dispute Resolution Center. I think that's in its 3rd year, and that's just drawing a tremendous amount of people walking back and forth from the locks to City Hall. So it's kind of serving as a great tool to get pedestrians out shopping. A number of businesses said they were quite busy. We still have a lot of work to do to continue to build that event. I think, over time we could see it pushing 20,000 people. The more we promote it, and of course the Visitors Bureau is really the thing that makes that event happen every single year. They put so much time and energy and funding into it. So really appreciate Linda Hoth and her staff at the Visitors Bureau. Engineers Day was amazing. You mentioned the Bridge Walk. The Slash Ashman car cruise was also, it's been an event every 2 days. It seems like the car cruise happened on Friday the 1st, and there was, people were saying 40, 50-minute traffic jams all the way up to Neville's. So it was crazy. If you get a chance, check out the photos on the Visitors Bureau. I Love Sault Ste. Marie, Linda Host's Facebook page, and I think they're in the newspaper as well. But just amazing event. They raised, I think, over $2,000 for a future dog park. Yes. That's still being in discussion, but I think the Community Foundation might work with them to start a fund, and then as the City Commission might work with the organizers. Gene O'Connor, Patty Kelly were the kind of really the linchpins behind that event. So I know they're going to work on raising more money for that dog park in the next few years. Hopefully we'll see that happen.
I would like to thank the city police.
Yes,
they were
absolutely.
for the controlling that many vehicles. And everyone seemed to be having a very good time and very patient. I just happened to notice one car coming down. I was going back up, and they were from California. The plate, they're going, okay, what's going on? Like, I looked out the window down. Yeah, this is Slash and Ash. We did this when we were like 40, 50 years ago. Oh yeah, great time.
And there's a number of even young, current high school kids that I heard a number of people say, yeah, my 16, 17-year-olds were like, what's Slash and Ash? Well, that sounds ridiculous. And then come out and try it, and man, I'm doing this every night. So
yeah, no, we don't want that.
It's catching on. So thanks.
No, great. Thank you very much. And I can't go without saying on that whole process in the parade, certainly thanks to Lake Superior State University, the float that they had with the boat, and then the tooting coming off of the the horns and that stuff. Lake State is to be commended. I think those are the kind of things that we want in the parade. Also, I think Bonnie Raphael's brother had his 18-wheeler band on top. And if you go to the parade across the river, their floats are all on semis, and they're all decorated. It's tremendous to see the number of 18.
They have a 4th of July parade over there?
No, they're no, the Canada Day, the Rotary Day parade is just tremendous. And if we get more of those kind of things, and certainly Lake State's float was very well done. And I don't think it costs a lot of money. They have some people on staff that are very talented, and that certainly helps. But every, a lot of and Tony Heller, again, is to be commended in that group that puts that together, because it certainly takes a lot of time. We all enjoy it, and it certainly benefits our community.
Another part of that, Mr.
Commissioner
Mayor,
Gage?
is that Sioux Events had a big part in the parade as well this year.
Okay.
Sioux Events is a new group that's designed to kind of combine the chamber, the CVB, the DDA, the different acronym groups and things like that. And Mary Jo Duval, I think, had a little bit to do with the parade, I think, this year.
Excellent.
We'll continue to
Don't want
do
to
so.
forget people. That's right.
Absolutely.
No, it takes volunteer work, no question.
But I think to kind of continue on that, I think that it's exciting to see the success of the Mural Project, the return to the right time of day for the 4th of July parade. It seems like Sault Ste. Marie is really kind of coming into its own, and I'm optimistic and excited about the future of our city. We're starting to become more active, so I'll leave it there.
Okay, Commissioner Bauer.
Just a couple of events real quick, and that is that Wednesday, Music in the Park, Gentleman George Band. They're the only act that's been in every single Music in the Park series since 1998. So,
great.
One of our talented local acts for many, many years. But also, it's a little distance off, but it'll be before our next commission meeting. So I wanted to bring it up, and that is the annual summer musical at Stars.
Yeah.
This year they're doing Music Man, so there's trouble in River City. I don't want to spoil it.
No, it's great.
But that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not this weekend, but the following.
That'd be the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
That is correct.
Okay. Anyone else? Commissioner Twardy.
Yeah, thank you. Just a side comment, though, with all of these things happening in Sault Ste. Marie, this is a great opportunity for people to access the Sault Ste. Marie mobile app to find out exactly what is happening in the Sioux and surrounding area. One more thing that's taking place this weekend is Relay for Life, and I myself am booked for the 7 to 9 p.m. at Sioux Area High School, so if anybody wants to come out and walk with me or schedule your own time, all you have to do is get a hold of my cousin Brenda at Daymaker's Salon, and it's, as always, Relay for Life speaks for itself.
Yeah, no question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gage.
I just remember one last thing, it'll be short. Our fireworks were way cooler than Canada's, I just have to say. I'm just saying it right now.
They
Our
always
fireworks
are.
were way cooler, so. Sorry, Canada.
Okay, anyone else? Commissioner Lynn.
Move to adjourn, Your Honor.
Support.
It's been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.